Thank you once again for joining us for the 2014 Kansas Master Teacher Award Ceremony. As I was kind of thinking about this week and thinking about tonight, I started thinking about my time in the classroom, and I thought a lot about Sarah. And I bet all of you have had a Sarah in class or as a classmate or something like that. Sarah is a really bright student, extremely fun to be around. She's always a person that volunteers to do something in your classroom. You always have to have extra activities because Sarah finishes things very early, and then she wants to do more and more and more. So Sarah is one of those go-getter kind of students. And I had Sarah as an 8th grader language arts student, a sophomore, and again as a senior comp student before she left and graduated. During her sophomore year, we were covering Caesar, and I loved teaching Shakespeare. And not everybody likes Caesar, but I was one of those people that actually liked teaching Caesar. And we were teaching Caesar, and we were talking about the motivation behind the assassins and their actions, because they're getting ready, they're plotting to kill Caesar, and we're talking about, what exactly was motivating these individuals to do this. And we talked about how they were called by a sense of civic duty, responsibility to ensure that they weren't under the control of a tyrant, and it was their duty to protect their families and their friends and everybody in their country. It was a sense of duty. And Sarah's a great student. She's an outstanding student, and we're talking about these serious kinds of things. And Sarah's laughing, and she's giggling over there, and I'm like, this is kind of weird, because Sarah's my all-star student. If I need somebody to be the class example, it's Sarah. And she's giggling during the serious motivational kind of talk about these assassins and what they're going through before they assassinate Caesar. So I say, Sarah, this is a more serious time, Why are you over there giggling? And she says, I understand that, Mr. Curtis, but you keep on saying the word duty, and I can't help but laugh when I hear the word duty. And I should have remembered this because as an 8th grader, we were talking one day, and I said, okay, so now when you do your own essay, she said, you just said doo-doo. And I said, you're right, Sarah, you are right, I just said that. Sarah taught me valuable lessons. And our teachers, all of our teachers, and especially our master teachers tonight, probably have a toolbox of tricks, probably have a toolbox full of educational anecdotes and things to pull out when they need to, because you always have to have a pretty deep toolbox to be a really good teacher. And I'm sure that our master teachers have toolboxes that are just filled to the brim with various tools. But one of those tools I remember that day was, you gotta have a sense of humor, and you better be ready to execute it at any given time, even when you're talking about something that you think is so serious and so important. You better have time for that sense of humor. So I'm really thankful for Sarah for sharing that and making sure that I remembered that I needed to have a little bit of a sense of humor, even when I was talking about Caesar in sophomore language arts. This year's, we honor 7 master teachers, and all of their gifts and all of their tools and their toolbox that they present to Kansas kids and their families. Before I call the teachers to the stage, I'd like to recognize some of our important guests who are with us this evening. Please stand as I introduce you, Dr. Michael Schonrock, president of Emporia State University. Please welcome Dr. Schonrock. Emporia State University Provost, Vice President for Academic Affairs, David Cordell, and his wife, Pam. The Dean of the Teachers College, Dr. Ken Weaver. Carol Patterson, Senior Officer for Bank of America, and her staff members joining us tonight, Terry Zumbrum and Kathleen Wilhite. I probably butchered that last name, I apologize. As noted in your program, since 1980, Bank of America has pledged over $100,000 to permanently endow the program provided by the Master Teacher Program. Thank you for your generosity. Let's hear it for Bank of America. all of our 2014 Kansas Master Teacher nominees. There's a full list in your program. We certainly welcome all of you here tonight. Are there any with us joining us tonight that were nominees? Very good. All former master teachers in attendance. I know we have a few. If you're a former master teacher, please stand and be recognized. We have a few of our selection committee members tonight. If you would please stand and be recognized as a selection committee member. Very good. Thank you for your work. Not an easy task to go through all of those and select only 7. I believe we have Senator Marcy Francisco. There she is. Please welcome Senator Francisco. And I believe we also have Representative Carpenter and his wife, Ann. Please welcome. Please stand if you're a school administrator with us tonight. School administrator, central office, building level. And we also have some of our local planning committee members here tonight. Would you please stand and be recognized for planning this evening's banquet? And last but certainly not least, let's thank our ESU chef and catering staff under the supervision of Jennifer Jeffries for tonight's dinner. At this time, I would like to call our 2014 Kansas Master Teachers to the stage. Once again, this year's Master Teachers are Bonnie Austin, secondary math teacher and instructional coach from Dodge City, USD 443. Please also John V. Bode, third grade teacher at Lawrence, USD 497. And a proud senator back there rooting him on tonight. Lori Gunzelman, 7th grade math teacher at Andover, USD 385. Singe Truelove, special education teacher, Emporia, USD 253. Carla Varner, 5th grade teacher, Dorado, USD 490. Kathleen Wilhite, secondary math teacher, retired out of Olathe, USD 223. And Maria Worthington, English language arts teacher, Blue Valley, USD 229. Once again, please recognize our 2014 Kansas Master Teachers. It's now my privilege to ask President Shonrock and Dean Weaver to officially pronounce and present these awards. So, Dr. Shonrock.
Thank you, Tyler, and thank all of you for being here this evening. Are you ready? Upon the authority vested in me in the great state of Kansas and its Board of Regents, I confer upon each of you the designation officially Kansas Master Teacher. Congratulations.
And by all means, I believe photo opportunities are available. So if you'd like a group shot, by all means, you have free reign at this point in time to snap the picture of the group and to snap the picture of your favorite master teacher as well. We'll start with Bonnie Austin. Let's give Bonnie a big round of applause. John V. Bode out of Lawrence, USD 497. One more, I think we got a few pictures out here. Lori Gunzelman out of Andover, USD 385. Singe Truelove out of Emporia, USD 253. Carla Varner out of Dorado, USD 490. Got a whole entourage of photographers back there. My goodness. Like the paparazzi back there. Kathleen Wilhite out of Olathe, USD 223. What did we do before cell phones that had cameras attached? And finally, Maria Worthington out of Blue Valley, USD 229. How about one more time for our 2014 Kansas Master Teachers? I believe I'll now turn it over to Dr. Dean Weaver, or Dr. Ken Weaver, Dean of the Teachers College at Emporia State University. Dr. Dean.
Thank you. Well, you give great honor to our 7 master teachers and to the teaching profession by taking time out of your busy schedules to make the effort to come here to Emporia State University, where we have an opportunity to honor these 7 very special individuals. What you're fixing to experience is the icing on the top of a very rich cake that has been today's schedule, that has taken our 7 master teachers to a tour of the one-room schoolhouse and a tour of the National Teachers Hall of Fame, to a luncheon in their honor, and to a very special event that happens every year, where our master teachers lead a seminar for about an hour and 15 minutes with our teacher education candidates. So imagine a room where we have, it's like our master teachers unplugged, in front of about 100 students. And the format is that they're given questions, and a few of them will answer questions, and then the students are invited to follow up with questions of their own. It was a very nice vibe between the master teachers and these 100 teacher education majors here at Emporia State University. Very rich experience. If you have an opportunity to ask any of the master teachers about what it was like in that classroom, I think, or what it was like in that room, I think they will tell you that it was very special for them. It was certainly very special for us and for our students. So thank you for that gift of this afternoon. So now the icing is that we have a chance to listen to these wonderful master teachers, and I have the great privilege of introducing them to you. And so we're going to go ahead and get started with that right now. Bonnie Austin states in her philosophy that education opens up doors for children to a future they may never have imagined. She feels that it is her job to help students open those doors and build self-confidence as learners. A former student writes, "During hard times in my life, I was thinking of quitting because I knew I was not going to pass. Bonnie told me I was not going to quit and I would see this class to the end. With her encouragement, her lectures about not quitting, and her compassion, I didn't quit. I passed college algebra the first time, and I have her to thank for that." Bonnie's energy and eagerness make her a favorite educator in the district. She is highly regarded and respected by her peers and continues to serve teachers and students in any capacity. Bonnie has the ability to take a vision and see both the big picture as well as the details, to see what needs to happen before the vision can come about. She also has the willingness to take the lead or do her part to make things happen. A community member writes, "Bonnie is an integral part of the community and does her best to reinforce the importance of lifelong learning and making a difference." Please join me in welcoming Bonnie Austin, Kansas Master Teacher.
Well, thank you very much. It's been a fantastic day, a real whirlwind, but we've certainly enjoyed it. Excuse me. You know, research shows us that the best thing we can offer our students to guarantee their success is a talented, well-prepared teacher in the classroom. And as I have the opportunity to work with teachers as an instructional coach, I get to see some phenomenal teachers day in and day out. So as I contemplated, you know, what really makes an outstanding teacher, I kept coming back to a verse in 1 Corinthians that said, 3 things remain: faith, hope, and love. You know, and I believe we can apply this to life in general, but I know that we can apply this to teaching. So every day, as I walk into the school, I first have to have faith. I have to have faith that I am exactly where I need to be. Exact spot that day. Because doubting that only handicaps my energies. I have to have faith in my peers. I have to, you know, educating can be a pretty lonely business sometimes. And I have to have faith that they are working just as hard as I am to get the same results. I have to have faith in my leaders, which I do. Doubting or mistrust of the leadership just creates a shaky foundation. And I have to have faith in the system. Sometimes that's pretty tough to do. But doubting and questioning and complaining about the system only zaps the energy that you need to be great. So you have to enter every day with some faith. The second thing you have to enter every day with is hope. You know, you have a lot of hope when you look into the face of that student because they're your future. I have a lot of hope that they're going to understand the content. You know, all students can learn, just not all on the same day. I always have a hope that I'm going to make a difference. Today might be the day that I'm the most influential person in that child's life. So we have faith, we have hope, but more than anything, we have love. I have to be able to look at that dirtiest little face, or that most sarcastic teenager, or that most resistant adult, and know that at some level I can say I can honestly love them. Nothing else really matters if we don't have a love for that humanity. So those are the qualities of what I think is a great teacher. You know, and after spending the day with my fellow honorees, they have those, no doubt about it. And I believe that these qualities are really within every teacher. Sometimes we just have to be reminded of that. I'd like to say a couple of quick thank yous. First to my colleagues. My original plan was to stay in Dodge City 5 years. 28 years later, I'm still there. But the reason for that, much of the reason for that, are the people that I get to work with day in and day out. And I just want to thank them for their support and their encouragement. Huge thank you to my fellow secondary coaches, Cindy and Robin and Erica. Every day is a joy, whether we're planning or preparing or presenting or just crying on each other's shoulders. Every day is a joy to work with you. A special thank you to Jackie, to Miss Weiss, my principal. Jackie, thanks for taking a chance on this elementary principal and joining the ranks of the high school. Thanks for supporting me and encouraging me in my dreams. But most of all, thanks for being a role model of a person who makes decisions based on what's best for kids. I love being at Dodge City High School, and you're a big part of the reason. My kids are keeping track of how many times I cry, so. Okay, Mom and Dad, thanks. Thanks for being here. Thanks for letting me pursue my dreams, going to college. You taught me how to work hard and to dream big. I only have one regret, and that is that South Dakota is way too far away from Kansas. To my boys, Josh, Caleb, and Jonathan, thank you for sharing your mom with many others in Dodge City. I know that there were times that you were slighted because my focus was on somebody else. But thanks for understanding and sharing me with those people that needed me. I'm so excited now to watch you follow your dreams. You're going to make a huge impact on this world, and I can hardly wait to see. To my husband, Bruce, once upon a time, there was a farm girl from South Dakota, and today she's a Kansas master teacher. God is really good. Thank you.
John Bode states that he takes ownership of the education and personal growth of each and every child who enters his classroom. He focuses on what he can know and what he can change. He believes that every child can succeed and is not surprised when his students excel. He expects them to surpass their own expectations, and they do. John's former principal writes that John is has an excellent knowledge of curriculum and a pragmatic approach to problem solving. John is a thoughtful listener who asks insightful questions and offers his team options while assisting the team members in deciding the best solution. A former student noted John's sense of humor and kindness. He makes little jokes that made us happy and interested instead of bored. He made me feel special and like I was part of a group. John knows his students well. He is able to communicate with parents about their students' learning progress, their strengths and weaknesses, and their ability to interact with other students. A parent writes that the children are stronger and more competent thanks to John. A community person writes, what marks Mr. Bode's classroom as special is his dynamic personality and ability to engage students where they are and encourage them to do their very best. I was always amazed to see the kids in Mr. Bode's room enthusiastically engage with the core curriculum in innovative ways. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome John Bode, Master Teacher.
Thank you. I'd like to thank Emporia State for hosting this event. You've really been kind to us today. It's been outstanding. Especially thanks Lucy Yusi for all your help. You've really gone above and beyond. I was really impressed with the students this afternoon. They were so attentive and interested, and they asked good questions, and it makes me feel good about the future. Thank you. I can only accept this honor on behalf of my colleagues at New York Elementary. I'd like to thank the entire staff, but particular thanks are due to my longtime grade level partner of the last few years, Amber Cook, My longtime friends that have worked there since I began, Kim, Melissa, Jennifer, Nancy, Jeff, Sandy, Rana, Linda, and Jan. I've enjoyed working with you all these years. Thanks for making New York an exceptional school. I also need to give my sincere thanks to all the families who've shared their kids with me. And to the students, I can't thank you enough for the time we spend together. I'd never be able to work with adults all day long. They drive me crazy too. I want to give special thanks to my principal friend and colleague, Nancy DeGarmo. Nancy, you're the kind of impactful leader schools need. You're always ready to collaborate, encourage, innovate, and challenge. And I love being able to just bounce ideas off of you. Your successful effort to teach the D word, data, to teachers is truly remarkable. Thank you for putting children first. I really appreciate that. Thank you, Dr. Dole, our superintendent, for attending tonight, and particularly for your support of the equity initiative in our district. I feel like it's the most meaningful educational initiative that I've ever been involved in. To my wife, Claudia, thank you for all your great ideas about science education, all your help organizing my master teacher application, and so much more. I'd like to thank my children, Clara and Nico, for making me a better teacher and keeping me company late afternoons and Sundays when I need to go back into work. I'd like to offer special thanks to my high school debate and forensics coach, Roger Brannon, and his wife, Doris. Thank you for coming. I really appreciate you being here tonight. My memories of high school debate are the best memories I have of high school, and I owe you a huge debt of gratitude. Thank you very much. And I'd also like to thank Senator Marcy Francisco for fighting the good fight in Topeka, along with the rest of the Lawrence delegation, Senator Tom Sloan and Representative Paul Davis. And I'd like to thank Senator Longbine for inviting all of us master teachers to the Capitol last week. Your support of public education is also appreciated. In closing, I have a few choice words for the governor and legislators in Topeka. I'll say these words instead. All of this year's master teachers were honored. Truly, we were, to be recognized by the Kansas State Senate last week. In keeping with current practice in Topeka, many words were spoken, none by teachers. Thank you, senators, for recognizing us, but please recognize our expertise. Call on us when you're making decisions on adequate funding. Recognize our voices when you debate adoption of the Common Core and the next generation science standards. Give us a voice when education policy is being made. Legislators found time to hear testimony from the Kansas Policy Institute, none of whom were educators. Apparently, there was time to meet with lobbyists from ALEC as their policies and that they advocate were cut and pasted into recently proposed legislation. You referred to input from these business people as expert testimony. Make time for us. Hear our expert testimony. Give Kansas teachers a voice. We are educators. We solve problems. We get things done, we can help. Let us educate you on the realities of our schools. Thanks again to the Teachers College and Emporia State University. On behalf of my colleagues at New York Elementary and the Lawrence School District, I'm proud to accept this honor. Thank you very much.
Lori Gunzelman states, just as our society is ever changing, so should the classroom. The future for each of our students is unknown. We must work to give them the tools to be successful in whatever path they choose. As teachers, we model lifelong learning by learning new tools ourselves and strategies and applying them in the classroom. What sets Lori apart from other teachers is her ability to hook all learners with learning experiences that are relevant in the lives of today's students. She utilizes multiple data points to meet students where they are, and then incorporates technology and effective teaching strategies to help them move forward. Lori is someone who is incredibly dedicated to her job and genuinely cares about each student that walks through her door. Her approach and dedication to the kids is unmatched and unlike anything that the nominee had ever seen before. There is no doubt when interacting with Lori that she truly cares about her students and genuinely loves math. A former student writes, "I always felt welcome to bring ideas and questions to class, even if they did not pertain to what we were learning that day. I have never had a class where I felt more involved, appreciated, encouraged, challenged, or stimulated." Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Lori Gunzelman, Master Teacher.
Thank you. That was a very nice introduction. I'm just going to consider it a success that I did not spill anything on my jacket during dinner, made it up here, around, and back without falling. So, I too would like to thank Emporia State for all of their work. It's been a really nice day. And to those that were here that reviewed the master teacher applications, getting to know these people today, you made some great choices. As I was completing my application, it occurred to me, I thought of that phrase that it takes a village to raise a child. I think it took a village to raise this teacher. I also thought that little choices that you make during your life, how they impact you, and choices that other people make that have this domino effect and impact what happens both in our personal and our professional life. So I thought I'd speak briefly to those two topics. About 24 years ago, aging myself, I made a decision to go to K-State. My parents were very supportive of that. Then I made what was probably a surprising decision to major in secondary education. So I'm going to thank my parents for their support when I went to college, and then thank them for not pointing out the irony of choosing secondary education because I was less than a dedicated student myself. A few years later, I walked in and applied for a job in Andover, and two administrators gave the newbie a chance, and so even though they're not here, I want to thank them, Bob Palmer and Doug Baber. They allowed me to work in a district that I've been in now for 20 years with amazing staff, amazing kids, and amazing administrators, and many of those are here today, so I want to thank them for being here. The teachers that helped to raise me were probably the biggest part of what made me get to the point that I am today. So I'd like to recognize a couple of them, Susie Smith and Kim Breitenbach, who even though they teach that crazy subject of social studies, they taught me that there's a time to be the advocate for the student and a time to employ a little tough love. They were masters at both of those. And along the way, I did learn a little bit of appreciation for social studies when she's fighting the Civil War next door for 10 years in a row. One of the best choices I made, I think, as an educator was sitting on an interview committee several years ago when we hired Miss Jill Fogel, who's sitting over there. She's now my partner in crime and lesson planning. Once in a while, those lesson plans even involve a crime. So I thank you for being willing to take those crazy ideas and develop them with me. Dr. Annie Koenigs, who is now a resident here in Emporia, made the choice a few years later to add me to his academic coach team, and I got to work with Miss Fabulous Kim Het, who's sitting back there, which was never a boring day. Kim and I were leading a workshop one time on differentiated instruction, and we had a great plan that we would cook pancakes as a strategy of showing the teachers what it meant to differentiate instruction. As a result of that, the district got to choose to rewire 2 classrooms because we burn out all of the wiring system. Oops. The last couple of years, I've had a chance to work with the amazing Bev Carpenter, and I warned her I was going to do this. Bev, you're going to have to stand up for this. Bev's my Triple H. She comes to my class for 2 hours a day as my co-teacher. You know you have to remain standing. She brings with her humor. She has an amazing sense of humor, hard work, and height. And that's great for a math teacher who always needs an outlier in her data set to prove to kids how that works. Thank you for being my outlier. Yes. And reach things off the top shelf for me, that's true. Lastly, I'd like to thank my husband, Paul, who, sitting down here in the front, for listening when I've had less than a stellar day at school, and building space shuttles and golf courses and Plinko boards for my classroom. I think you're probably one of the better choices I made through the years. And to Kaylee and Kara, who at a very young age, when I would bring home stacks of paper and I'd put stars on those good ones or stickers, they decided that everyone deserved one of those. And so they would star 150 papers, and by the end of the night, the stars looked a little scary, but the students always enjoyed trying to decipher them. And now they can put together an amazing bulletin board, I have to say. Kara wanted special recognition as being my favorite student ever. So here's your shout out, Kara. You deserve that for having your mom as a middle school math teacher. So I'd like to thank all of you that came tonight, the village that helped to raise me, and those choices that helped to bring me here tonight. Thank you.
Singe Truelove states in her philosophy that education is one of the most important gifts we can give young people today. Education is the key that will open up so many doors of opportunity for them. We need to encourage today's students to become lifelong learners as they question ideas and form opinions. Her greatest strength is her ability to adapt her instruction to meet the needs of the special education students whom she serves. She is a passionate teacher who advocates for her students and their well-being in the classroom. She brings instructional strength to her building leadership team and to the special education department. Singe is very devoted to her students and has high expectations for all of them, regardless of their ability level, while making learning fun. She is understanding and patient, but inspires her students to exceed their expectations. A parent of a former student says, "Our experience with Ms. Truelove has been a very positive one, sort of a knight in shining armor experience. Our son was able to succeed in academics and sports and develop high self-esteem and motivation because of the excellence that Ms. Truelove gave in middle school that then grew and cultivated to be more in high school." Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Singe Truelove, Kansas master teacher.
First of all, I would like to say that it has been a wonderful day here at Emporia State University. Obviously, a lot of work went into planning our day and carrying it out. And I want to thank everybody, especially Lucy, who contributed to making this day so special for us. It was very reflective for me as a former Hornet to walk through the Teachers College, see the wall with the master teacher photos. I used to spend a lot of time in that Visitor Hall atrium. I think one of my good friends out there knows what I'm talking about. And we'd see those other pictures of those teachers. And today, I got to see my picture there. So it was kind of a full circle thing that I really enjoyed walking through the campus. And let me tell you, they got a lot better furniture now than when I was here. So I'm a little jealous about that. But I would also like to thank the Emporia School District and the Flint Hills Special Education Cooperative for all the support that they have given me over my 19 years in the district. I would also like to give a special thank you to my principal, Wendy Moore. She has supported me. She has given me some leeway to do what I need to do, what's best for my students. And she's also given me some opportunities for leadership that I feel inside that I have grown the last few years as a professional, and I thank her for that. You know, as a teacher, you spend an awful lot of time at school. Almost it's like a second home. And when you spend that time there, you form a lot of strong bonds with the colleagues with whom you work, and they kind of become a second family to you. And I'm really very blessed to have a very strong school family. They support me not only professionally, but personally as well. You guys are my rocks. You get me through my day. And I want to thank you for being there and for believing in me. You guys are awesome. I would also like to thank my father, my other family. He long ago instilled a value in me of working hard to get what I wanted. And I kind of feel like all the hard work that I've done over the years, it's paid off. And all those lessons he instilled in me have brought me to who I am today. So I thank my dad for that. And then I also have a special little thank you to my nieces and nephews. Over the years, when I would try to come up with a new activity, or I'd take a new class and have to give a test, They were always my guinea pigs, and they did so very willingly. So I would like to thank them for that. They mean the world to me. And most of all, I would like to dedicate this award to my students, past, present, and future. You are the reason I do what I do every day. You are the reason that I look forward to coming to school. I enjoy celebrating your triumphs, hearing your silly jokes, like yesterday was April Fool's and I heard the same jokes over and over, but I still laughed, and offering you a shoulder when you need someone to lean on. We all know that the teacher's job is to educate their students and prepare them for the future, but what many of our students don't realize is how much they give back to us. They are what makes teaching truly a rich profession and one of the heart. For instance, there's the boy that can't read. There's a boy that he's going to do anything he can to get out of reading, even if it means going to the office. And then there's that boy, the same boy, that eventually he finishes his first book. And then he goes on and starts a second book. And he's in the corner of my classroom giggling. That was the most wonderful sound I've ever heard. This child that couldn't read a book, now is reading it and he's laughing at it. There's also the young man that comes back to visit you later in life and tells you that if it weren't for you, he wouldn't have gone down the right path in high school, and he's now studying at the tech college. And then there's the stubborn middle school girl, who is now a high school senior, that sends you a note, which you happen to get on one of those days where you doubt yourself as a teacher. We all have those. But it just happens to come at the right time you need it. And in that letter, she proceeds to tell you that she's decided to go to college to study to be a special education teacher because she wants to inspire kids like you inspired her. Those are just some of the rich and precious jewels that I have collected over the years in my treasure chest of teaching, and it is the reason why I'm so very honored to be a teacher and to accept this award. Thank you.
Carla Varner says in her philosophy that all students can learn. I encourage and provide as many learning experiences as possible for my students and for all students. Carla's career is focused on sound practice, firm consistency, and integrity of character. She is dedicated to the success of her students and inspires them to achieve. She is always a positive and happy person. Carla is the go-to person in her school, displaying a tremendous amount of professionalism and common sense in the ever-changing world of education. A former student says Mrs. Varner was always communicating and encouraging her students to become involved. She even helped us to find new ways to get involved. She has been and will always be one of the most influential teachers I've ever experienced. A parent of a former student states, I have known Carla for over 20 years and admire her unwavering character and passion for teaching. I see her great dedication to her students. She is always guiding her students in a fun yet challenging manner. She strives to direct each and every student with a positive attitude, listening to them and on their level, and continually encouraging them to grow and learn. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Carla Varner, Master Teacher.
Well, I can probably talk in front of my fifth graders all day, but you guys make me just a little bit nervous. First of all, Emporia State, thank you so much for this awesome day. We've got to tour the campus, which brought back a lot of memories from several years ago. And it's always nice to go back to that hall and those pictures that I saw when I walked down there several years ago and thought, well, maybe someday. And, you know, my picture was there today, and that felt pretty good. Thank you. I was thinking back through my teaching career, and I thought back to a plaque that I received from a fellow teacher when I graduated from Emporia State. And the plaque reads, Teacher, those who love teaching, help others, love learning. And that pretty well sums me up. I love teaching, and I love helping kids learn. I do this every day. I've been out of the classroom for several days this week for several reasons, and I'm really kind of ready to just go back to school tomorrow and see my class, so I'm looking forward to that. As I think about my teaching career, I really think back to my own elementary career. I had some awesome teachers who influenced me to make good choices. We spent the day at school with them, and I was from a small rural town, so we also spent the evening doing basketball, Job's Daughters, 4-H, youth group, whatever it was. And they were just a role model to me forever. I respected them, and that's what I wanted for my future as well. So that's what I work for in my classroom. If you fast forward to about 25 years, today you'd see me working in my classroom. I try to get there in time to help kids if they need something, or right now I just make them come out of the gym and clean the guinea pig cage because it always smells, it seems like, and they just love that time. And it's also a nice time just to visit with them, find out what's been happening. Sometimes I pick the right kids because I just need to touch base with them, so I enjoy that. If you walk by my door, you'll probably hear me saying something about your math brains. Is it engaged today? Did you remember to charge it last night? Hey, I like the way that sounds. You'll hear me talking about Lincoln's expectations, good behavior choices. What does it look like when we walk down the hallway? Should there be this much noise? Can we do a better job? So those are all things that you might hear. I'm also really big into setting goals. I want the kids to have a plan. How are you going to get from point A to point B? What do you need to do? How can you better yourself? How can you make our world a better place? I like an education that we're kind of changing our focus from just reading and math. We're thinking about the whole child. What kind of a decision maker are you going to be? Are you going to be somebody that makes good decisions and becomes a productive citizen, or somebody that I can encourage to make better choices and be a stronger citizen? I think good thinkers will help our world be a much better place, and that is my goal every single day. I like to develop strong relationships with my kids, so we spend a lot of time just chatting, whether we're talking about our word of the week or what happened over the weekend. We do spend a lot of time just visiting. One day in the last several weeks, another student came in from the office and said, the paper wants to come to your room and interview you. And I was like, and they said, well, we have to do it today. I'm like, oh, I have mentors coming from the community. Okay, it'll have to be this time. So I had told this, and several students overheard me. And, I'm kind of thinking, okay, what am I going to do? So I look like I'm doing what I want to be doing. And then I kind of looked at my clothes, and they're like, well, you're okay, Mrs. Varner. You look nice today. So not sure about the other days, but that day was good for them. So. This award is such a privilege, and I thank Emporia State very much. I know there are tons of wonderful teachers out there, so thank you for taking time to recognize us. For my thank yous, I obviously have to thank my school family. I've taught in the same building for 25 years, so we are pretty tight and close. We're strong educators, we're strong friends, and that makes it a good place for our students. So thank you very much. I have several people here from the past and from today, so thank you for taking time to come. To the district office staff and administrative staff, thank you for always giving us what we need so that we can be our best for our students, and we appreciate that a great deal. To my family, my 3 daughters, you are now to the point where you actually help when you come to my classroom. Again, they can put up bulletin boards, they put stickers on papers. Sometimes they're even my secretary and record my grades in the grade book after I've graded papers. So it's not just chasing them around the room, they're actually helping me, which I greatly appreciate. I have one daughter who does a lot with my, I was thinking about, and so they listen and help me with that as well. Thank you, Calvin, for putting up with me when I say, can I have 24 wood blocks tomorrow? They need to be 2 by 2. And he'll go cut those for me, so thank you. To my mother and my extended family, thank you for listening. She tends to be the one I call on the way home and kind of share the day's trials with, so some of my other family isn't here, and they've led me down this path as well. So thank you very much. Have a good evening.
Kathleen Wilhite states in her philosophy that all students need to be lifelong learners to achieve in their careers and to be informed, responsive citizens. They must develop self-help skills and problem-solving strategies that will allow them to pose their own questions and search out the answers. Kathleen is described as innovative, compassionate, fair, and challenging, with the innate ability to assess a student's inner learning potential. She is also humble, preferring to be teaching math than tooting her own horn. She engages students' open and eager minds with mathematical learning and instills in them a passion for learning and the value and privilege it is to have an education. Kathleen has high standards and demands excellence from her students. She provides a great deal of structure for her students and creates an atmosphere in her class to enhance students' learning. A parent of a former student says, for the students not as capable at math, Mrs. Wilhite was able to present the material in a variety of ways until our daughter was comfortable. She gave her the same care and enthusiasm as she does those who pick up the concepts easily. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Kathleen Wilhite, Master Teacher.
Thank you, Emporia. This has been a very, very special day. To my fellow honorees, Dr. Weaver, President Shunrock, wonderful. The campus looks entirely different than when my husband and I were here more than 40 years ago. And so I bring a different perspective in that this is my first year of retirement. And to those of you still working, I encourage you, retirement is awesome. So indulge me as I wish to say in just a few minutes thanking those that have made a huge difference in my life. And I begin with the Olathe School District. For 33 years, you gave me a home, and I spent enough hours there to earn it. You educated our children. You gave me countless opportunities to grow professionally. When I came to Olathe in 1980, there were 8,500 students. This year, little under 30,000. That is exponential growth. And I don't mean that just as a term. I mean, I plotted it. It's a lovely exponential curve equation. I can give you the equation if you care, but it is. And through all those times, growth and then budget cuts, and growth and budget cuts, they managed to keep in front of them what's truly important, and that's what's best for students. And I am so honored to see the people that I respect here tonight. Thank you so much for coming. It's truly a wonderful school district. And to the administrators who have endured and coddled, thank you for being here. Mr. Odell, Mr. Clark. You know, they put master teacher on me, and that might seem like I was an easy staff member. But truth is, I'm the right brain mathematician, not the left brain. I'm not sequential. I am random, which means I have lots of ideas. And follow-through's a little short sometimes. I love shapes. I love numbers. I love the Fibonacci sequence. But due dates, I see those more as suggestions. And I have opinions, and I was sure that Mark and Bill wanted to hear all of them. So thank you for listening to me and supporting me and trusting my vision. To my colleagues, I can't even begin to thank the wonderful people that have shared this terrific career with me. Carol, who taught me to teach math through science. Susan and John, who sat through lunch for 21 years and shared all of our stories and passions. And I am here today because you have enriched my lives. Susan, I drove all the way here with driver's license, money, and a full tank of gas. Susan and I went to a conference in Topeka one year, and I had none of those. But I did have Susan, and Susan carried it through. To my family, they are awesome. I have 3 wonderful children, which are truly our best product. I say we, dear, we have 3 grown. They're all yours, too. Crystal, who is here this evening, Brian, and Kelly, who could not be here. Thank you for your patience, your support, your love. You are wonderful. Thank you for sharing the kitchen table where we did our homework together every night. To my husband, who is a rock. He is truly, truly an amazing person who tirelessly supports me. Teaching is the most rewarding profession, as we all know, but it can't be done unless you have the home support, and he provided that. And when I say I don't know how to turn on the vacuum cleaner, I mean it. Today allowed me to reflect about what is special about education, what are the rewards, and the rewards to me were those aha moments when you could see it in their face, that cloud passed, and there was that, oh, I get it moment. That was very special. And If I had one advice to teachers today, it was to set expectations high. And no matter how high I set the expectations, they always exceeded it. They were phenomenal. And I learned so much from them. I have former students that are all over the world. And fortunately for me, they keep in touch. They're in China as entrepreneurs, and then down the street in Garmin as engineers. And most importantly, I have many former students that are also high school math teachers, and that is most rewarding. Student population for me right now has dwindled down to 4 adorable grandchildren, and we have already started working on numbers. Thank you all very much.
Maria Worthington says, "I teach because there are students who need me. I believe in the power, beauty, and truth embedded in literature, which provide understanding of the world, and in the powerful tool of writing to communicate ideas. My goal is to motivate students to think, develop skills, and to communicate in an ever-changing world." Maria's belief in her students' abilities is genuine, which allows her students to take risks that they normally would not take. Her dedication to the teaching profession inspires her colleagues and her students. She instills in her students a passion for learning and exploration through her creativity and innovativeness as a teacher. Maria's energy, use of technology, and assignments set her apart from other teachers. She is always looking for new ideas, new ways to help her students embrace strong communication skills as a way of life. A colleague says her consistent search for not only the teaching methods best suited for each student, but also the human connection that she can make with each child defines her as a professional. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Maria Worthington, Kansas master teacher.
Okay, I'm last. I married the W, and I'm sitting here, and one of the things I learned today in all of our wonderful meetings is that children have a 10-second attention span. So, wow, I'm last. So luckily my colleagues came, and I thought, I'm reflective, I'm flexible, I'm gonna dig into my toolbox. And what did they bring me? Rock star glasses. So I'm like, this is the end, and this is a wow. So I'm like, this is my 10 seconds of, I'm getting you excited. Pulling into my, so aren't you engaged now? Okay, I just want to make sure you're awake. I mean, these guys are hard to follow. I mean, I'm the end, and I want to make a big splash. So if you forget everything else, remember the glasses, that'll be good. I have to be honest, a highlight a few weeks ago was when one of my students came bursting into my class and said, "Mrs. Worthington, they're tweeting about your award. Congrats, you're famous." And so I was like, wow, that's like amazing. I'm a celebrity. And I went home to my 3 daughters and I said, isn't that cool? Am I not celebrity status? Silence. Maybe I should be more like Ellen DeGeneres, and we should get like a cell phone out and we could do an education celebrity selfie and really jam up the Twitter feed tonight. So that's always an option. As I look around the room tonight, I see believers. You wouldn't be here if you weren't a believer in education, a believer in teachers, a believer in students, a believer in Tinkerbell, maybe, or just someone in this room. You guys are all believers, and I have always been a believer. I'm here today accepting this honor in behalf of everyone who has believed in me and loved me into being. I am a collection of all the teachers, mentors, and family Some of you might remember when Mr. Rogers went on stage to accept his Emmy Award in 1997. In front of all the television and soap opera stars, Fred Rogers made his small bow and spoke into the microphone and said, "All of us have special ones who have loved us into being. Would you take, along with me, 10 seconds to think of the people who have helped you become who you are?" I know that most of us in this room only need a few seconds to know the people who have loved you into being. Mr. Rogers knew that success can only happen with love and support. Many people here in this room support and hold me up daily, and I want to thank them. Every piece of my teaching has been inspired by someone. I think of my Spanish teacher when my class is actively moving and engaged around the classroom. My 6th grade teacher taught me hands-on learning and taught me to believe in myself. My 10th grade English teacher encouraged me to be an educator. And my 12th grade teacher, a master teacher herself, just loved good literature. I thank my peers who collaborate and listen to me. Thank you for cheering me on tonight. It really meant a lot that you're here. I am so lucky to work with an amazing faculty. I thank my teaching partner who collaborates with me every day and who inspires me with her intellect, her high standards, and powerful love of students. I also want to thank those not here. There's so many who mentored me, especially who taught me the beauty of literature and the power of writing. Thank you to my department chair, the administration, and the Blue Valley District. We have had a very long and loyal relationship. Thank you for trusting me with your students. Thank you to my students who keep me young and hip and honest. Well, at least they make me think and they pretend that that's the way it is. I want to thank Bank of America and Emporia State University for this honor because you truly understand the significance of the teaching profession. Thank you to my fellow class of 2014 master teachers who are rock stars. They are gracious and wise and passionate. They represent not an anomaly, but a flourishing profession. And I saw that today in the room of students that we talked with. I know because I work with amazing professionals every day who are not only highly qualified or accomplished, but compassionate and sincere. I know it's a flourishing profession because my daughters are taught by caring and creative teachers who practice their craft with love of student and content. Thanks to my husband who always makes me laugh. This would be a really good time because I'm breaking down. He enjoys literature and sophisticated syntax. Wow, isn't that great? Watching me prepare for class and grade papers at home, he often comments on how time-consuming teaching is. However, once he said to me that he's jealous. He's jealous of my profession because every day he sees me go to work with a purpose and a passion, and he's right. You should be jealous. I want to thank my amazing daughters, Savannah, Colette, and Ada Lily, who continually inspire me. My powerful love for you has renewed my desire to teach and has helped me to see each student as special. I want to teach them with a compassionate rigor and high caring standards because that's what I wish for you. I want to especially thank my mom tonight. She couldn't come, she's in DC. She is a teacher, retired now, but she is still lovingly teaching daily. When life gets burdensome, we remind each other of a shared special story. The story begins at a Nationals baseball game with a young boy cheering behind a fence behind the batter. I don't know how old he was, but I always picture him about 5, and he stands at the fence yelling at the batters, "You can do it. You can make this home run. You can hit it." Over and over, this young boy stands at the fence, tirelessly yelling encouragement. That boy is a believer. We all need someone standing at the fence yelling, "You can do it." And my mom is consistently at my fence yelling for me. Nothing is more important than educating our children. Society depends on us to make it happen. We have every reason to feel pride, every reason to feel responsibility for the process. Nelson Mandela once said, "There can be no keener revelation of a society's soul than the way it treats its children." I challenge us to believe and to be awake for our students and to yell, "You can do it," at their fences. I believe people matter and that the influence of others on our lives cannot be minimized. Together, we journey together as lifelong learners. I believe education is the solution to all problems. It starts there. Thank you.
Well, I'm so glad that the camera's on back there to record this night, because I'm not sure how you can come here at this event and not be inspired and hopeful and, just a little bit of more of a positive feeling about the state of Kansas and our future because of these teachers and teachers like them. Let's hear it one more time for our 2014 teachers. I'm glad you didn't stand up because I was afraid you were going to walk away. And Lucy told me that I had some more announcements to make, and I've just kind of learned to do what Lucy tells me to do. You guys learned that today, see? So it worked out really well. So, well, thank you all once again for joining us tonight. It's certainly an honor to have you here at Emporia State University. I do recommend that you do that tweet with your Kansas Master teachers. I would recommend the hashtag #StingersUp. #1 hashtag in the NCAA last year. We're going for back-to-back years. So that's guaranteed to go viral very quickly. So for you planners, nomination information for and event details for the 2015 Kansas Master Teacher Award are posted on our website. And if you don't want to go to this website, you can probably Google Kansas Master Teacher Home. It'll probably get you there. But emporia.edu, several // will get you there too, or a search for Kansas Master Teacher. The local planning committee would also like to thank you all for your continued support and for your outstanding teacher award programs. For your patience as they move their procedures into an electronic format and all those fun things. By all means, truly thank each and every one of you for your support of these educators, of all education, and general education in general. Education it's simply an essential ingredient for a positive future. And I think we all know that. So thank you for being part of that future. Congratulations once again to our 2014 Kansas Master Teachers. We've enjoyed our evening, and we hope you've enjoyed your evening as well. Have a great night and a safe trip home. And I can't leave without saying, go Hornets.